New reports are stating that the Apple iPhone 12 is finally going to be removing the notch, and I'm going to be sharing the details right after this. If you're new here and want to stay up to date with the latest tech, please hit subscribe, followed by the bell. So another week and another batch of leaks and reports around the Apple iPhone 12. We've got a mixture of good news and bad, along with reports and renders stating that Apple are going to be ditching the notch to provide us with a full screen display on the iPhone 12. We've got a lot more good news than bad, so we're going to get the bad news out of the way first. The bad news is that we may see a delay on the iPhone 12. There's a huge amount of reasons why this may be the case, but it's important to note, while it does seem very likely, it hasn't actually been confirmed. Jon Prosser has stated that the prototyping isn't finished yet and it can't be completed due to execs not able to fly to China. And some other blogs are stating that the iPhone 12 will be delayed due to supply chain issues and not being able to produce enough units in time. A Japanese news site called Nikkei, however, claims that the delay is a decision by Apple for another reason altogether. They've advised that Apple had an internal discussion about delaying the launch over fears that the Apple iPhone 12 is not going to sell well in the current economic situation. They stated that supply chain restraints aside, they're forecasting a significantly lower demand for consumers to upgrade their phone, which will lead to a tame reception of the Apple iPhone 12. The iPhone 12 is expected to be their first 5G phone, so it does need to be a hit. Of course, with many worried about their income, as well as their own and family safety, upgrading their smartphone is probably the last thing on their mind right now. I also told you of a new short-range ultra-fast Wi-Fi that was believed to be used in the Apple iPhone 12. Many were speculating that the reason for such Wi-Fi was for Apple's AR glasses to work with the iPhone 12, but it doesn't look like this is going to happen. A new report has been issued that states the expected date to commercialize the Apple AR glasses is now going to be 2022. Of course, this new ultra-fast Wi-Fi could still be present in the iPhone 12, as it will have other great uses such as AirDrop. So the bad news out of the way, we're going to focus on the good. Foxconn is one of Apple's main suppliers, and they've issued a statement to say that they've got enough workers now to meet seasonal demand and their factories are prepared for the launch of the 2020 iPhones. Apple have also informed their employees that they plan to start reopening retail stores in China in the first half of April. For the Apple iPhone 12, we've had news of a periscope lens being present for the very first time in an Apple smartphone. For those unaware, a periscope lens uses a prism or mirror to refract light onto the sensor, and it provides optical magnification unlike digital zoom that reduces the quality immensely. Many blogs and YouTube videos I've seen are stating that we'll likely see this on the Apple iPhone 12, and of course many other smartphone manufacturers have been using the lens for some time. Ming-Chi Kuo, however, has stated that this isn't happening until 2022, and given his track record, I would consider his reporting much more likely. We've also got news of Apple's car key iPhone upgrade that people are expecting to be in the Apple iPhone 12. It was found within code for iOS 14, and it's going to allow iPhone 12 users to be able to unlock their car using their iPhone. It's also going to allow iPhone 12 users to share with their friends, allowing them to unlock their car as well. Apple has reportedly landed at one of the biggest car manufacturers in the world as its launch partner, but at this stage we don't know which one it is. Finally, we've got the great news of an Apple iPhone 12 coming without a notch. This is the news most of you wanted to hear, and it turns out that it is a possibility. The report suggests that Apple are going to be making a drastic design change in the iPhone 12, and it plans to remove the notch altogether. Apple are reportedly going to squeeze the sensors into the top bezel of the iPhone 12 so that users can still enjoy a secure 3D face unlock without the need for having a notch. A similar design has also been revealed in the latest concept video from SmazZG, where he shows off a full screen range of iPhone 12s that are sticking with the dual camera design on the back. Now, it's important to note that these renders are simply what he believes it's going to look like and not necessarily what it is going to look like. Ming-Chi Kuo has also advised that the iPhone 12 is going to be getting support for sensor shifting stabilization. This is going to allow the actual image sensor to move slightly, and it's going to help it handle movement and vibrations better to provide even better stabilization overall. Of course, with the iPhone 12 launch now being further away, it may be longer until we get confirmation from Apple. While news of no notch is great, I personally think that we may be seeing this notch for just one more year. To be able to squeeze so many sensors into a small bezel, they would have to make compromises to quality and performance, and as we know, that's not really Apple's style. Of course, I could be wrong, but only time will tell. With previous reports of faster Wi-Fi, 65-watt fast charging, and a newer, even more secure 3D face unlock, it's looking like the iPhone 12 is going to be very impressive however the final design turns out. We do already have lots of information about the iPhone 12, so we're going to run through what we know about each version of the upcoming smartphone. When it comes to the iPhone 12 though, one thing we haven't had leaked yet is the name. Although we're unlikely to see any radical changes, so we're going to assume for this video that it's called the Apple iPhone 12. We're expecting to get 4 new iPhone 12s in the range, which is going to be 2 different iPhone 12s, the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 12 Pro Max. We're expecting Apple to increase the display sizes on the most premium models, although those who want a smaller display are still going to have an option. Reliable analyst Ming-Chi Kuo has advised that there's going to be 2 iPhone 12 versions. The smaller iPhone 12 is going to have a 5.4-inch display, and the larger one will have a 6.1-inch. We then get a 6.1-inch display, which is the iPhone 12 Pro, and a 6.7-inch display, which is the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Unlike last year, however, all models are reportedly going to be using an OLED display, and the resolution will differ across the range. The 6.1-inch iPhone 12 will likely have a lower resolution than the 6.1-inch iPhone 12 Pro. And while there are rumours of Apple removing the notch, I really can't see this happening. In typical Apple fashion, we're still expecting a full-screen display with a notch top centre. It's too early for in-display camera sensors, and I can't see Apple going for a punch hole. They also need a time-of-flight sensor on the front for their 3D face unlock. And while Apple did ditch the fingerprint scanner on the iPhone X, there are reports that it's going to be coming back in the form of an in-display fingerprint scanner. There are reports suggesting that Apple are also going to be increasing their refresh rates on the latest displays. While most phones have stuck to 60Hz displays, it's been changing recently, and Apple are also going to be joining this trend. At this stage, we don't know if they're going to be using 90Hz, 120Hz, or even a mixture of the two across the range. When it comes to the rear of the device, we're expecting a similar camera setup to last year, but the more premium model will have more cameras. Ming-Chi Kuo has again advised that both the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 12 Pro Max are going to be adding time-of-flight cameras to the rear. For those unaware, time-of-flight cameras are 3D depth cameras, and they're what Apple uses on the front for the 3D face unlock. The time-of-flight sensors on the rear, however, use slightly different technology that allow it to map 3D objects from further away. This significantly improves augmented reality applications and allows for more improved portrait-style photo and video effects. We're likely going to see slight upgrades on the other cameras of the iPhone 12s, but given the great performance in its predecessor, they won't be changing things too much. Reports are suggesting that the 2 more budget models are going to have a dual camera setup, while the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 12 Pro Max are going to have a quad camera setup with the inclusion of the 3D depth camera. The iPhone 12 is of course going to be powered by the new A14 Bionic processor. This is actually manufactured using 5nm lithography, which will bring significant improvements, and there's a good chance that it will be the first 5nm chipset to hit the market. When it comes to RAM, the iPhone 12 Pro Max is expected to come with 6GB of RAM, while the standard iPhone 12 will only have 4. This is something that I think Apple actually do well compared to Android manufacturers, where they throw in unnecessarily large amount of memories, causing the consumer to pay for memory that they don't even need. When it comes to storage, we're expecting a choice of 64, 256 or 512GB of internal storage. For the first time ever, consumers felt Apple did a great job in prioritizing the battery life on the predecessor, so hopefully that's something that's going to continue with the iPhone 12. While graphene batteries are still out of the question, we can expect a 5.4-inch iPhone 12 to be around 2,800 mAh, The 6.1 inch is probably going to be around 3150, and the 6.7 inch should contain around a 4300 mAh battery. One thing that is a little unknown at the moment is of course 5G connectivity. Apple are very bad when it comes to 5G thanks to earlier issues with Qualcomm, so we're unsure at this stage if that's something we will see in the iPhone 12. It's rumored that the iPhone 12 is going to have 5G connectivity, but there aren't actually any leaks or reports to back that up. The iPhone 12 is going to be IP68 water resistant, and it's of course going to ship with iOS 14. Now when it comes to pricing, we of course want lower prices on the Apple iPhone 12, but it does seem unlikely. We did however have this with the predecessor when the base iPhone was actually cheaper than the XR, so it's not impossible. Unfortunately, material prices have increased this year, so I expect the smallest 5.4 inch iPhone to launch at around $750 or £800. The 6.1 inch iPhone 12 to be around $900 or £950. The 6.1 inch iPhone 12 Pro to be $1,050 or £1,100, and finally the 6.7 inch iPhone 12 Pro to be about $1,200 or £1,250. Of course, it's not all about specs, and we're likely going to see some new software features or improvements to the current features in iOS 14. The iPhone 12 is set to launch in September as always, and it's always around the second week they release, so we can expect to see the iPhone 12 range on either the 8th or the 15th of September, and the iPhone 12 will be released about 10 days afterwards. Of course, being so far away, these are leaks and rumours, but as more information comes to light, I'll be sharing with you guys straight away. As always though, I'd like to know your thoughts in the comments. Who out there is waiting for the iPhone 12? Which model are you waiting for? And do you think it is going to have a notch? But thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, smash a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit that thumbs down twice, and I'll see you guys in the next one.